Hello, my beautiful people. How are you? This is not a reading. I'm going to do the full moon reading tomorrow. So, I'm just talking a little bit about my trip and maybe a little about the eclipse, of course, as well. The trip has been fun. And for people who have asked, did I move down to Argentina? No. I do join a gym no matter where I go, unless it's going to be a few days. Like, all this needs to be kept up. So even though I'm on vacation, my body really isn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't do quite the heavy workouts I do when I'm home, but I need to maintain this, make sure that I can just eat what I want and I can just go out and have a good time. So I'm gonna go shopping in a bit because I need to, I like shopping in different areas when I'm going out, just because I like to buy something that I can't find normally where I'm at home. So that's been fun. So Rio was fun. The beaches are really nice. The people were I mean, I met a lot of people there, but it was always, I didn't feel quite as comfortable. And not because I'm feeling like, people say it's dangerous or they're gonna steal your phones, that kind of thing. Not because of that. It was something else. I just wasn't, it was pretty, it was nice. It was about going with the flow, but I just wasn't as comfortable as I have been in other spots. Like some other spots, you just sync with, and this Rio didn't quite sync with me. And this is a spiritual mission that I'm on as well, which I finally found out what that mission was yesterday. So I was so happy, and then Adam texted me at the same exact time asking what I wanted from the tarot that I was doing and everything else, whether it be entertainment or money or whatever it was. And it was just so funny because the spiritual mission is about coming into the mastery, and it's really interesting too, because when I was here in Argentina, this guy came up to me. I was walking down the street, meeting some friends at a bar, and they weren't there yet, so I was continuously walking down, and this guy comes out of nowhere, a little bit older than me, I guess, comes and starts talking in Spanish about the cactus being very smooth, one of the cactuses. It was just a really weird, out of place conversation with somebody just walking down the street. And I said to him, hablas inglés? And he's like, oh, yeah, yes. So, because I didn't know what the frig he was talking about, first it took me by surprise. And he was just talking, he was like, we talked a little bit about where you're from, and he was talking about the cactus. It was only, not a couple yards ahead of me, that there was just no thorns on it. And it was just very interesting conversation out of the blue, just boom. And when I went and walked several blocks over, and I was just looking to see what was there, I came back to meet my friends who finally were at the bar, and he was sitting there again, and I just said, what was your name, blah, blah, blah. We chatted a little bit more. So last night, I was on my bed, and he came up in my thoughts. And I was like, oh my God. And it just all dawned on me, because there were certain things I should have said to him and I didn't. Because part of the mastery is the communication, the teaching, it's not really, it's conversing. It's telling people certain things that need to be said. And that's what I'm doing, of course, with the tarot, but also, again, on a bigger scale with the reality show. And that's kind of what this is all about. But it's also about meeting people in person. I do this somewhat already, because sometimes the conversation opens up to spirituality and I start talking more about it. But sometimes it needs to be a little bit more specific to that particular person, and being able to, when feeling the need to, say something to this person. So it really was about becoming in the mastery of that, which was really interesting. And I asked my guides, I said, did I get it? And they're like, yes, that's the lesson. The second lesson of it was going with the flow. In other words, this whole trip, if something was off, I would just handle it with grace and just go with the flow. Like when I was locked out of my apartment here, I was having groceries and everything else. I, thank God, had friends, of course, here, and I went to their apartment, and it was not what I was expecting my day to be, but it was a beautiful detour, and it was just literally going with the flow. Everything worked out well. I got a hold of the company that had not been answering me for quite a while, and they finally got in. We got the codes and everything else, and that worked beautifully. But it's been things like that continuously on the trip. It's been about going with the flow, and this is very important too, about that mastery, because it's about being in the present moment which can be very difficult to do. And it's really about trust with the universe and going with the flow, being in the present moment. So, for me to say these things, I also have to walk the walk. Do you know what I mean? I just can't tell people what perhaps they should do. Again, you have free will. You do whatever you want. I'm not commanding anybody to do anything, but it's you. I got to walk my walk. Let's put it that way. I can't tell somebody something and then not do it myself. So this was a very interesting thing, and it's like my vibration is going to be going up higher after the eclipse, which is tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Well, so it was when this all happened, I was so excited, but it was so funny. Then also Adam texted me the same exact time, asking me all about this, and he's been going through his own things too, which has been absolutely remarkable. And there's a lot of stuff happening with the eclipse, around the eclipse already. New Jersey got hit with an earthquake of 4.8 magnitude, which is interesting because tomorrow is April 8th, and that's when the eclipse is happening. So it's been things have been happening all over the world, and yes, things always do, but there's shifts happening, big time shifts. And if you look at it, there's always synchronicities in these things. There is no such thing as coincidence. So you have to really look and see what's going on. Sometimes you're getting messages from the universe as well. Seeing repeating numbers is a perfect example of that. Sometimes you can look up the angel number, and other times it's really about activation for your soul. Your soul will understand what those numbers mean. Because like language, numbers, they all have the vibration. It is a code. Light is information. It is a code. So all of this, the funny thing is like when we, and also that we perceive things at this moment we're perceiving, of course, we're making our reality. And as soon as we shift from that reality doesn't really belong there anymore. And then we can come back to it because there's an essence of knowing, like where that structures lay. So again, this is, what did Einstein say? Einstein said, this is nothing's real, but it's very persistent. The reality is very persistent. And that's kind of what it is. Because you remember, everything's vibrating. There's barely any material, anything, because you keep getting lower and lower space. There's really nothing but molecules moving. And those molecules, there's nothing, and the atoms in that, there's really nothing of concrete, although it feels concrete to us. So it's been kind of interesting. So this shift is a very important one, which has been happening. Of course, again, it's already been starting to happen, and of course it'll be 6 months also into it. And these shifts are, this is truly the new cycle is here. Those, if there's no going back to the past, there's no changing the past, there's no reconciling with the past. It is over. It is done. It's gone. That's it. So you move on. You say your goodbyes with it, and it's time to move on to the next thing. And for light workers, people who've been working on themselves, of those nature, people in higher vibration or looking to be in higher vibration, you're gonna be doing much better. Like things will start moving for you, hopefully, and it should. There may be some lessons, there may be some delays and things like that, but that's the universe testing you and sort of seeing, but you must have faith in it. And then with those people that really have been, really not wanting to hear the call, not wanting to change, not wanting to give up their drugs, addictions, alcohol, their low vibrational ways, they're gonna have a really big tough time with this. It's gonna really, really, really be a big tough time for them. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We all have free will, but they even have the opportunity as well to start changing their ways once they start going through this process. Yes, there will be still karma to pay, absolutely. But it will, once they start deciding, then they're going to start working towards their North Node, towards the light, then even that karma will seem to be a bit easier, you know what I mean? Or it may lessen the karma, depending on what these people have done, of course. So this is kind of what's going on right now. So I wanted to explain all of that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to hit upon. I'll be here until April 4th. I get home at April 14th. I leave the 13th of April. And it's funny too, it's not lost on me that I'm here in Buenos Aires and we're in the Aries season. And it was, my guides literally picked the dates they wanted me to go to Rio and the dates they wanted me to be in Buenos Aires. They did not want me to be in the United States at all. I don't particularly know why yet. The only thing about Argentina is the mosquitoes, which has been a little bit of a problem with me. They've been eating up my ankles like nobody's business. And I can't find mosquito repellent. Nobody has it. Like, I keep going. I need to go to a bigger pharmacy, I guess. I can't be the only one getting bit. And, everybody has their doors open and the cafes are open, and the food here, I mean, the people have just been beautiful. They've been so wonderful here in Rio. I mean, in Rio they were too, but especially here in Argentina, it's just been so welcoming. Really great, beautiful people, beautiful energy. They put up with my bad Spanish, thankfully, and it's just really pretty here. I thought, like, for a poor country, because they always say this is a very poor country, you wouldn't know it. You would not know it. I mean, the buildings are beautiful. There's brand new buildings. Everything seems up to date. It's very European-esque. I'm in a very beautiful apartment right now. It's like everything's up to date. The food is gorgeous. I mean, I just had a huge pizza, a glass of wine, a bottle of water, and a coffee, and it was like $14.50. That would buy me maybe a glass of wine in the States. Yeah, it's just been crazy. And the steaks were just gorgeous, big steaks, and everything's so inexpensive, and done just so well. It's so delicious. Yeah, so I'm really surprised. I would definitely come back down here again, absolutely. I might come back down to Rio if I have a particular purpose, or maybe it's Carnival, but I don't have a desire to come back to Rio. Maybe I'll go to Sao Paulo, and there's other, of course, cities all over Brazil. Brazil is a big country, of course. And, there's other countries that I'll have to also visit here in South America too. I mean, Chile, Peru, we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of, Venezuela and Colombia can be a little unsafe. It just depends, especially for an American traveler. But I would like to go. I mean, I think if I had the right person, that I was coming, that I had a friend somewhere in those countries, then I feel a little bit better. Because I don't know. And we always, especially from the outside, we get like, oh, it's very dangerous, very dangerous. Well, when I remember when Times Square was not Disney-fied. It was like porn shops all over the place, and it was very dangerous. Drugs all over the place. And I was walking through Times Square, much younger. I was much, much, much younger. And I didn't have this kind of build with me. And I just felt completely fine. So I guess it just really depends on your notion and how you feel comfortable in certain areas. I mean, obviously you don't want to be too flashy. You don't want to like wear a lot of jewelry, and you don't want to keep your phone out, and like especially Rio, you don't want to keep keep your phone in hand. Keep it tucked away. But even in the United States, I still put my phone in my front pocket. Yeah, so that is about it. I don't think, is there anything else, guys? No, my guys are like, no, that should be about it. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go check out some more areas, maybe do a little shopping, that kind of thing. So I hope you guys are all good. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday fun day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.